There we go. Now I could say that I'm live, live, live. Welcome to the Troy Graham Experience, episode 5 of the Daddies Lounge. Raising older children, taking time for yourself. Selfish? Could be, maybe, huh? How much time is too much time? Now that they're grown and as they could be in their 30s, 20s, you know, how much time do you stay away now? Or do you wait for them to reach out to you? But before we get started, man, I always like to tell a story. I got so many stories. Yeah, I always got stories. So see what story I can share with you today about grown children. I have all my kids are what, 35, 24, 23, and 20, right? So they all they all grown. But I'll tell you one story about sharing time. Me and the oldest one used to reach out to me, used to watch Power. We were big fans of Power, so she would call me or I would call her on Sundays and see if she saw the episode of Power, the night before or on Friday. And most of the time she saw it, so she was like, "Yeah, I don't know why that boy killed his dad." We just would have some good talks. We have some good talks, some good conversations about Power. We would share some time and things of that nature. And I enjoyed doing that with her, you know. And then the ones under her, my sons, they would reach out to me at different times and be like, "Look, uh, listen to I started rapping. You might not like all the words, but can you check it out for me? Give me your opinion, because I got all that skill from you. Because I did spoken word. That granddaddy was a reporter for a little bit, and their great granddaddy wrote. He spoke Chinese, wrote in Chinese, and so he was a writer himself. Right. So they would sit down and talk to me and just let me hear their music, and I'd be like, well, I don't like the lyrics, but you got something. But he's like, yeah, they would tell me the two. This is the middle one and the youngest ones, the younger one. They're all going to be on here in a minute, and so they would tell me like, look, I really want to do this and everything, right? I really want to do this, and can you help me out? What did you do when you were out there? I let them know about poor man copyright and things of that nature, and how not to go in that studio unless you have an agreement, either something on paper, because friendship could mess up. Ain't no friends when you're in there. It's business, you know. Unless even with your family members, it's all business. Because the minute you spit something on somebody else's equipment, that belongs to them. It don't belong to you no more. You might have created it, but it belongs to you. It don't belong to them anymore. I mean, it belongs to them. It don't belong to you anymore. So that's something else I'll let them know. You know, don't let someone pull the rug out from under your dream, then you get all depressed about it and all that, because it's just a little step back. It's just a little step back that's gonna step you up to something. You know, and that's some of the conversations I'd have with some of these grown children of mine. You know, these grown daggone children. Yeah. But it was fun, man, because when you're coming up with them, when you're raising them, you're not coming up with them. When you're raising them, as father child relationships, it's not, well, I'm a young adult now. Let's have this conversation. Nope, it's just child and parent conversation. So you're like here, and they're here, and then once they reach here, you still have to be a little bit right there just to let them know that, hey, I'm the parent. I'm the parent. I'm still the parent, but I respect that you're an adult. If you want to talk, let's talk. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? That's when you go to a different level of thinking. All right? And I think we've all had that at some point with our father. We're like, look, I want to talk to you about something. Even the ones that you met later on in life. Let me share this story with y'all before I get into the subject matter. I've never heard my father's voice on a telephone until I was 31 years old. I've never heard his voice on the telephone. So anybody can call me and say, hey, this is your father. And I would be like, okay, because I never heard his voice on the phone. All that seems so powerful now. So simple, right? Just that, when you hear your father's voice on the phone, you know it because you've had conversations with him. I've never had one except when I was 31. Called me and he said, hey, this is it's your father. And I'm like, okay. Because you gotta understand, the last time I saw him, I was 15. And now here I am, 31, about my first child. So I was like, hey. He was like, hey, I heard you had a grandson, man. I mean, no, I heard you had a son, and now I'm a grandfather. I was like, yeah. How have you been? Before I even got that out, he's like, well, can I say hello to the baby? I said, yeah, you on speaker, man. Go ahead and talk. So he was just mumbling on. He was saying some things. I didn't even understand half of what he was saying, you know? And he was like, when you get older, you make sure you listen to your father. I remember that much. Listen to your father. And I heard you look just like me, which he does. My son looks just like his grandfather. Exactly like his grandfather. So the rest of the stuff was womp, 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 womp. I don't even remember it. So that being said, uh, we had a short conversation, and he's like, "Well, I'm trying to stay in touch with you and everything, and I'm trying to stay in touch with him because I really want to see him grow." And that was the last time I spoke to him before he passed away, which he didn't pass away until maybe 20 years later. Never, something like that, because I had a dream that he passed away, and then I think it was confirmed. So yeah, yeah. But that's one of them stories, man. True story too. One of these days, I'll do a Tubi movie or something. No, I'm not. I absolutely am not. But I'll put out a book, or hell, I could turn this Fallen thing into a superhero graphic novel. You never know with my mind. But today's episode of Daddy's Lounge, episode number 5. Again, this is the Troy Graham Experience. Daddy's Lounge, episode number 5. Getting grown kids, getting time for yourself. Could be, maybe, selfish. Could be, maybe. I say no, it ain't selfish. But what it is, when you get older, you get so comfortable by yourself. If you're by yourself, then you get so comfortable with being by yourself that you're saying, well, the kids are grown. I mean, sometimes you take the call, sometimes you don't. You know, you don't feel no guilt about that. I don't feel any guilt about that. They're not children anymore. More than likely, they're calling because they want something. Oh, yes. Never without the beet juice. Didn't want y'all to hear me chewing ice. I'm anemic, so every now and then I chew ice like crazy. But yeah, it's actually beet apple juice. Like, good for your system and everything, man. Very good. Flushes out my blood, gives me that energy. Let's say if I was a soldier, you could say that I stand at attention very well. But anyway, like I was saying about having grown children, the whole the mood changes. Then the mood is not about when you first getting started, whether you be able to do this or not. Nowadays, are they even listening to you? And are they calling because they want something, or are they calling to see how you're doing? And then when you call, most of the time, will they pick up, or will they find a way to be busy? You know, at least that's what I've dealt with. I don't know what everybody else has dealt with, but I think uh, for most of us, as more or less, when you call these grown people that you helped bring in the world and raised and clothed and wiped their behinds and everything, sometimes they find time for you, sometimes they don't. But oh, let them need you and you don't pick up. How you not gonna pick up the phone? Because you have your own place and you got a job and a career and you're doing good. What you need me for? I'm over here with a friend of mine or something, or I'm over here. I decided to go to the beach or go out of the country for a little bit. What's up? You know? Hey, Miss 702, how you be? How you be? So that's. I mean, I was even on the phone with a friend of mine, and one of his young adults called, and he was like, "Watch this. She gonna want something." So he said, "Hello." He's like, "Hey, Daddy, I love you." And he said, "How much you want?" She said, "Daddy, I only need $50." And da 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 da. And he's like, "Yeah, I kind of figured that. I'm gonna send you 75 on the Cash App, but that's it. I ain't gonna send you no more money this month. All right, all right. I'll just call you back next month." She just said, "Don't. No, unless you want to talk to me. Don't. No. That's what grown kids do. That's what those young adults do. You know, they figure they'll always have a safety net as long as we're alive. You know, and sometimes, honestly, it's vice versa. With vice versa, we use them as safety nets. We're not putting a phone bill or anything in their name now. We actually got a place with them, and we're sharing a route together. How that work out, I don't know, because personally, I don't want to live with any of my children. Like I told, I'm in my own ways. I walk around the house in my boxers. You know, I do whatever I want in this place that's mine. Can't do that with them. I'm not gonna like all their friends. I never will. And there's a part of me that just likes quiet and likes to be by myself. You know, with them, it ain't gonna be that way. Whether I don't care if you got 3 stories in your house, you're still gonna know somebody else is in there. You know. So how do you deal with grown kids? How do you do that? Thanks, Miss 702. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. She said she liked and shared it. Appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, how do you deal with grown kids? I mean, they're a blessing because with them they will always remind you and keep you humble. And then when if they have grandkids, that even humbles you even more. You hear the word pop pop, that everything else goes out the window. You know, they put that smile on your face. Yeah. But then there's been times where I picked up the phone and be like, "Hello, can you? I need you to prep my food for the whole week." I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that without pay. Can you cook? Can you cook for my birthday? I mean, for my christening, your grandson's christening, I got 8 packets of chicken. Who else is gonna be helping me? How much you gonna pay me? Would you ask anybody else to cook 8 family packs of chicken without paying them? So why you gonna ask your father that? Now I cooked 2 of them suckers. I'm not even lying. I cooked no 3. I mean, I lie. I cooked 3 of them family packs of chicken, and I said I'm done. Okay, get somebody else to do it. I got one oven, and an air fryer. Ain't no way I'm gonna be finished in time. And there's no way I was gonna do it in the first place, not for free. She said, "You gonna charge me?" Yeah, it's business, baby. It's business, baby. Just like I was selling food at one point at this festival we had in Maryland, and she was like, "Oh, okay, I just came to pick up my plate." I said, "Yeah, you came to give me $15." What do you came to pick up your food? Give me $15. It's like, you really gonna charge me? Shit, yeah. Why? I said because that's business, and you grown. You a nurse. You grown. Knock it off. The same thing with my grown niece. You gonna charge me, Uncle Troy? Yeah, I am. See, that's the thing with grown kids. They expect you to still treat them as children. Well, at least when it comes to money. But when it comes to them taking your advice, like I ain't no child. I might be your child, but I'm not a child. Yeah, but you took my money and some of my toilet paper the other day. Adults don't do that. Who the hell takes toilet paper? You know how I am about toilet paper, damn it. Shit. I'd rather you take something out my freezer. Don't take my toilet paper. But yeah, that's the fun. That's the thing, man. They so grown, but they quick to take your money. Hmm. Hmm. Again, I didn't want y'all to hear me chewing ice. But like I said, everything is a routine, man. I did my routine today. I got a little bit of sleep. I listened to some powerful, positive affirmations before I got on here, and I'm just going through it because none of this is scripted for me. I'm learning with this podcast. I'm learning as I go. When I was doing the boxing, I already knew I had an idea of how I could keep it flowing because I know the sport. That I know the sport. I know how to flip on the light switch and just go. With this one, I'm flying off the top, but that's why I read and listen to these positive affirmations so much so I don't ramble on. You know, I want to keep the pace of the show going, going, going. Is right now the show is in its infancy, right? But in the near future, this will be my growth child. And then we'll be having discussions and people on the panels and things of that nature. I would love to get my children back up here, so I'm going to work on that. Maybe Friday I'll see if I get my youngest son on here and see if he can jump on. If that sucker answered his phone, he called me the other day and he was like, "Yeah, I got the dates for my graduation." It wasn't no dates. It was the price of his cap and gown. Like I ain't paying for that. You got a job. He's like, "You're not gonna pay for it for real?" I said, "No, I'm not. I'm seriously not." The reason why I do that is because I want them to work for it. Not that they don't have a work mind, but when they feel they could lean on you for anything, they'll make it a repetitive thing. And I don't feel bad about that. I said, well, you worked hard to get here. Now continue working hard and get your cap and gown because you worked. This is $80, man. You work. You could buy. You could buy that your own. What you need me for? But dad, nothing. Need a pair of shoes? I could when I come down or come up in this case, we go out and get you a pair of shoes, but I'm not buying your cap and gown for you. I want you to have that experience. That's like I had it. I bought my cap and gown. Nobody bought it for me. I never asked anybody to. Nah, I wanted that memory of me buying it, and I wanted him. Now he has to have that memory of him buying it. Just like I wanted to buy her prom dress. I'm like, you want me to pay $400 for a dress you're gonna wear one time, and it don't have no back? It's like a little assed out dress. No, no. We could rent one. That was a deal. Now I'll rent it, and my price range would be 200 at the most. That's it. Other than that, I'm not going over that, right? Oh, I can't get anything I want for 200. Well, good. You got a great grandmother. She'll make you one. We'll just go get the material, pick it up. Oh, I can't stand him. He's so cheap. Yeah, and sensible. That's how you got to deal with them. Give them everything they don't want until they're forced to do it on their own. That's not. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing to do to grown-ups, is it? Because who's coming to rescue you? at this stage in life? Nobody. So why do I have to come and rescue them? I gave you all my time and energy when you were little. Now I just want some love back that you older. Come have a meal with me sometime. Talk on the phone with me sometime. Share some of that energy. I'll come over there and see the grandkids, but I am not babysitting. 2 hours at the max. That's my max. Is 2 hours. I don't do the whole babysitting thing or spend the whole day with the child and all that. Next thing you know, I'm exhausted. I'm done, done with changing pants. Even though they older now, they don't need me to change no damn pampers. But I don't do pampers either. I don't do nothing. Christmas maybe, and birthdays maybe, but other than that, I do nothing unless I'm asked. Unless I'm asked, I don't do anything. These are the grandkids I'm talking about now. Right. Like, man, you love your grandkids, but you don't do nothing. I'm like, right. Because you're supposed to do more than me. Sure. You're supposed to do more than me. Because, see, what happens is with the grown ass children, that's a setup. Oh, your grandchild miss you. You should come over and visit them. Then they disappear on you. I know that game. Or, or they want to come hang out with Pop Pop. Yeah, they're going to come hang out with Pop Pop for a total of 2 hours. 2 hours. That's it. And then that's it. I'm bringing them back to you. How you going to find me? GPS. I'll put a track on your car. I'll do something. I'll take them to their daddy. You ain't taking them to, yes, I will. I will take them to their daddy. Leave them there. The term is grandfather grown child, not father. So that's another way I deal with these grown ups, man. I make them be grown. Damn all that babysitting all day. I've done all that already with my own kids and other people's kids. No, I'm grown. I'm older now. Look, hence the gray hair, the salt and pepper right there coming along. I want my time, right? And I don't even. I put is that selfish in the thing there, the subtitle or whatever it is. But I don't think it's selfish if you want some time, if you want your time now that your kids are grown. It's just, I guess you always question how much time you do stay away from them. But I don't, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad at all because you know what? I can pick up the phone and call them. Most, you know, and they can do the same to me. We could FaceTime. We could do whatever. We could talk. It's a two-way street. So don't be guilting yourself now that they're old and you're like, man, I haven't spoke to them in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Well, call and check up on them, sure, but don't be guilting yourself because there's a little time that passed by between you and your adult children. Don't do that because they could call you just as much as you could call them. It doesn't have to be always on you to pick up that phone and call them. So I don't feel like it's selfish. I don't. I feel that this just was necessary. Well, it all depends on who you are, also. If you're one of those people that are like, okay, they're grown now, I can go love upon them, and then go back to my house every day. Well, that's you. I'll love upon them twice a week, 3 times maybe at the most. Then, hey, you'll be lucky if you hear from me. I'm right here though. So if you need me, I'm always going to answer the phone, but I'm not going to be the one to come check on you every day because you could easily say, hey, I just want to hear your voice, old man. Make sure you're all right. You taking your medicine, and your grandkids are worried about you too with all that gray hair. Man, I'm fine, Bama. I am fine. I'm over here with a friend of mine. I'm gonna tell Mama. Well, you go ahead and tell your mama. What's she gonna do? We ain't together. Be talking about my mama like that. Wow, you old enough to deal with it. No, I don't say nothing negative. But that's the fun. That's another fun thing with them. You can make these damn jokes, and they just got to deal with it. They got to deal with it, man. I mean, what they gonna do? What are they gonna do? They're grown. You might say something sharp, and they'll look at you like, you know, I didn't need to hear that, right? Yeah, but you're grown. You're not traumatized. You'll be all right. You'll be just fine. Trust me, I know. I know. What's child abuse? Are you a child? You saying you're a child now? You trying to move back in with me? No, hell no. Mm-hmm. When you're an adult, always hit them with the common sense stuff. You don't have to be. See, because I make them me sound like I'm distant. That dealing with how I deal with them. I'm not. I'm You get to a certain age and your kids are grown. You get comfortable with how you deal with them, how you discuss things with them, and they'll just don't let them get too comfortable where they feel they can talk to you any old way. You know, because that's what happens a lot of times. They reach a certain age, they be talking to their parents any old way they feel. I'm like, I'm not having that. I'm your father. You know, so I'm not that dragon I sound like I am. I'm making myself out to be. I'm not that guy. But at the same time, I do set up barriers. Like, look, don't call me. Constantly call me and ask me for stuff, man. Call me, say hello sometime. Let's all do a big old Zoom together or something. All of us. You know, we all get on Zoom and talk for a little bit, or whatever. You know, one of you FaceTime the other one FaceTime the other one, the other one FaceTime me. We all have a big old group chat. Let's talk. Make sure everybody's good. You know, and say, I'll see you same time next week. Or you could always do it Monday, Friday, like a family check-in, Monday, Friday. But I'm not gonna chase them down now that I'm feeling I'm a empty nester, as they say. I'm not gonna chase them adults down. You know, they supposed to be loving up on me now, just like I loved up on them. Us, us old single fathers need love too. I should say older, because I'm not getting old till I die. That's when I get old. But yeah, that's the fun part about doing this. A lot of times you could go to the range with them and have some fun. You could do so much with them. Like there's a college near me, and they have this mountain inside the rock climbing, and I always want to do that with them. Hell, I still want to do laser tag with them. They probably all of them probably shoot me, but that's all right. I got some Rambo skills in me. I can get them. I can get them. That'll be fun. Me against all of them. I'm not on nobody team. I'm a maverick. But I definitely want to do the rock climbing with them, and yeah, definitely do the laser tag and some other stuff too. I'm gonna go to the casino with them, man. Hang out, do some stuff at the casino, just stuff that adults would do. Yeah, that'll be cool. And then always want to have these deep conversations just to find out where they are, what's going on with them. You know, I love doing that. I love when they share their creative skills with me, because it all comes back to like the family history I taught them about their great grandfather, their grandfather, leading all the way up to me and up to them. I love teaching them that history, that all that skill you got to rap and write, that came from Sugar Graham. That's my grandfather's name. Well, that's the name the ladies gave him, Sugar Graham. Figure that one out. The grave digger, right? Their daddy name is Jim Graham. Figure that one out, right? And then there's me, Troy Graham. And then there's all the rest of the Grahams. And I teach them a lot about their mother's side of the family history too. That's another thing when you have these adults, young adults. They remember a lot of what you teach them coming up. Like their great great grandfather owned a ton of land. He was a pastor, but he lost it, credit and stuff like that. He lost a lot of that land, but his son got a lot of it, and he passed a lot of every bit of it on to his children. every bit of it. So they, when they get older, I guess they'll have some land as well. Hopefully. So yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Either like this one here, the youngest one. I've been talking to him about the Air Force, and he's interested in that. I would love if he goes in the Air Force. I would love it. It'll be continuing a legacy. His grandmother on his mother's side, Air Force. So if he goes in the army, that'll be me. I went into the army. So, and then he has his uncle was army. His other uncle was army. He got cousins that were just. There's so many of us that went in the army. So he'll just be continuing that legacy. I just want him to go breathe some fresh air and grow. Even if they base him in Japan or Hawaii, wherever, when he gets in the Air Force, you grown, go grow. That's what I tell him all the time. You are grown, go grow. It's no more, you know, pushing you out the nest no more. You out the nest. You, you're spreading your wings, but time to spread them a little further, fly a little further, fly a little higher. Don't fly. Don't be like a Icarus though and fly too close to the sun. Just fly high enough where you can enjoy it, but don't fly too close to the sun now, because you will come tumbling back down hard. You know. But I also love when they come back and ask me questions that make me think like, wow, I said all those things coming up. I don't remember any of that, but you did say it. Yeah, but I don't remember. So I plead the fifth. This is not court. It is if you're in my house. Tell me nothing, right? That's the pleasure of having young adults now, man. I couldn't imagine at my age right now having a job. I couldn't imagine, not at all. And for all of you who are of a certain age, middle age and above, and having children, more power to you. But that don't suit my spirit or character right now, brother, sisters, brothers. That don't suit me. Mm-mm. Yeah, that ice chewing thing, you get it once you're anemic. You definitely get it. I can't tell you how much ice I chew throughout the day, but that's the benefits of having an ice maker. They're not very good for your teeth, but one of these days I have someone come on and give you some more information about this. Now, if you just get off topic for 1 second here. If you're a man of a certain age and you're having that some ED issues, drink beet juice. Make it strong too. Don't be afraid to put a big chunk in there or the whole blasted thing, because put apples in there, let it stretch out for a few days. Trust me, you'll feel the difference soon enough. And over time, you can see your skin too. When you start juicing your skin, and like my skin looks so much better now. Like if you could go back and look at some of the old podcasts when I first started years ago to where I am today, you'll say, "Oh yeah, 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 definitely worked." So yeah, I think I'm gonna get my. I got a brother who's he was trained by Professor Griff, and he used to be security for Public Enemy, and he's an urban gardener. Excuse me, and a airplane engineer. He fixes airplanes. I want to get him on here because he literally owns a farm in Maryland. He sells veggie bags and all that for $10. He pulls it out the ground. I definitely want to get him on here. He's not a father. That's not true. He does have children. He does. So I want to get him on here to speak about fatherhood and health of a certain age. I got another one on here who's a stunt man. He was on the Equalizer with Queen Latifah. He's done a couple of the Jesus John Wick movies. He's been in there. and he's an instructor as well, martial arts and a stunt instructor. So I want to have him come on and talk about, just martial arts and how it helps you at a certain age and things of that nature. There's another one who he's been doing martial arts since he was 9, and he's almost 60 now, and he does not look his age. And yeah, he's not to be. He's a very humble cat, but not to be. You see him, Troy Graham show, Dominique Hacksaw. Yeah, you can go check him out. One of the shows I did with Dominique Hacksaw talked about his band and martial arts and a lot of other things. So go check that out. And I'll work on getting the other brothers on here because I definitely want them to just talk about health and staying in shape at 60 and fatherhood and everything. I definitely want them on here. Except for the other brother who's a stunt man. He doesn't have any children, but he can definitely tell you about health and how he keeps in shape because he is 53. He's 52, I'm 53. So yeah. Yeah. And then a couple other folks I want to come on here too. But I'm going to work on getting them on. Right now, I just want to build this thing up and not see where it goes. I want it to go somewhere, so it's going to go that way. Ain't no looking back. No looking back at all. No doubt. No reason why it shouldn't go that way. It's going to go that way. Where? I'm not saying yet. I'm going to keep that to me. Don't give your dreams to everybody. Don't. But most importantly, if you want to see some interviews I did with my sons and my daughter, you can check that out. They on here on the Troy Graham Experience. You'll see their pictures on there. Interview with father and son. Interview with father and son. Then there's one that has all 4 of my children on there. You're gonna have to fast forward to like the 20-minute mark or whatever. For some reason, I guess it didn't record for the first 20, 30 minutes. So yeah, that'll give you an idea of the just the idea of who I deal with and all the stories. You'll understand once you get to talking, once you see the interviews. hmm But yeah, I was continuing the subject matter of grown kids getting your time now. Is that selfish? Could be, possibly. I don't know. I say it's not. I don't care if you leave and go away for a week, 2 weeks. After that, give them a call. Let them know you're all right. Or just text them throughout the time and say, "Hey, I'm still here. I'm good." And send pictures too, so they know it's actually you and not somebody else. So that's the way I expect them to do it, and that's the way I'm going to do it. Just send pictures like, you know, and then never mind the hand that's over here on my shoulder. You don't need to know whose hand that is. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm grown. You grown. You got a mama. And this young lady over here, I'm her daddy now, in a different way. Oh my gosh! I keep telling them when I get to 99, I'm going to Brazil, and I'm going to die in the arms of 2 beautiful Yoruba twins. It's like, Daddy, don't say that. Don't say you're gonna die. I said, hey, you hear? I said, I was brought in this world with a bang, and I'm gonna leave out of here with a bang. Hallelujah, hallelujah. One more time. Now, there's always going to be a segment in the show where I shout out fathers and all that. So today, I'm going to shout out 2 of them. Gene Deal. Yeah, that Gene Deal that has his own podcast on here. Big old, big Gene. Good brother, good brother. I've never met him face to face, but, met him on his podcast. And before I had my transplant, I called him up and like, I'm doing a fundraiser or whatever you call it for my therapy after me because my operation was covered, the hospital was covered, but if I went over a certain amount of time in therapy, the insurance wouldn't really only cover so much time. So I said I'm doing a fundraiser for that because you put it on your show. So he was like, yeah. So I put it out on the show, and that day it jumped up. It jumped up a lot. So I always thank that brother for that. I appreciate that, Gene. I always want to appreciate you for that, man. Very good brother. So I wish I could tell you what time the brother's show come on, but Gene Deal, Gene, and then the word deal. Type it in, go subscribe to him. He's a good brother. Another one, he doesn't have a podcast. He's a boxing promoter from out of Baltimore. Shabazz Brothers. He wouldn't know me to walk past me in the street. I called the third party up because I needed to get my son something to do this in the summer so they'll stay out of trouble one summer. So he was like, "Look, how old are your sons?" I told him, and he said, "Well, I only got one position available. I'll see what I can do about the other two, but I can tell you I only got one position." So I said, "Cool. When can I bring him out to?" He said, "Bring him out Saturday for the weigh-in of the fights. They're having some fights at is it UB Blake Arena in Baltimore." So I brought him out to the building behind Horseshoe Casino where they weighed in, or was it at? It was somewhere around there. So never met me before. Like I said, I called him up out the blue because I got his number from a third party, and uh, he said, "Cool, just come down." So I said, "Yeah, I'm the brother you spoke to on the phone." He said, "Okay, it's your son." He said, "Okay, bring him by tomorrow X amount of time, and I'm gonna work. He's gonna work 4 hours, and I'm paying $10 an hour." I said, "That's fine." So that was the whole interview right there. The whole interview. He just took a look at me, took a look at him, and based on the strength of that third party, Shabazz hired my son. My son got to put up some banners, put some chairs out for the fights, and he even got in the ring and helped put up the ring. And then basically he said, "I can't get y'all." It was food there, but it was from a caterer. He said, "I can't get y'all no food, free food, because that's catered. But just let me know when you're ready to leave, so I can pay you." And so my son said, "I did my 4 hours. I'm ready to go, Dad. I'm ready to go." So he was like, "There you go, your money." Paid him in all cash, and he's like, how old was he then? 16. He was 16. He's 24 now. So and I looked at him and I said, "I appreciate that." And I shook his hand, and my son shook his hand. So it's something these things you always remember. Because Gene didn't have to help. Gene could have said no to me. He didn't have to help me. Same thing with Brother Shabazz. He could have said no. But, they both helped me, and I'm always going to remember that. Well, my son, I always remind my son of that story. Because, like I said, there was no interview really. It was just a third party. He knew the third party. He knew the third party don't hang with no out of pocket people. Wouldn't send him nobody that's out of pocket or anything. So cool. And like I said, I've never seen, I've never physically been in front of G Dill before. Everything was done off here. But over a course of X amount of time talking to him, I got to know him a little bit. And then I wasn't even sure I was even going to pick up the call and ask him that favor because I didn't know him like that. But, when God tells you to do something, you do it. So I did. He said, "Yeah, man, you could have called me before." I was like, "Yeah, acting like you a punk." I'm like, I ain't no punk. I'm just weak. Yeah. Well, much respect to you two brothers, J Dill and Shabazz from Shabazz Brothers. Is it Shabazz Brothers Promotion or Boxing? Whew, I should know. But just Google that. You'll see both them brothers. And like I said, Gene is on here, so go subscribe to him. And if you're ever in Baltimore, look up Shabazz Brothers and see when the next fight is. All right now. So these grown kids, right? You know what I can tell you about being a father of grown kids? There's never a right time. There's absolutely never a right time to do anything. You absolutely never say the right thing most of the time, but you say what's right in that moment. At least if you're being honest with yourself, you say what you want to say in the moment, and maybe in time it becomes the right thing. But you can't really say what's how it's gonna hit them because you don't really know what they're thinking 100% of the time. And you you step into this never blind. What I mean by that is that you know the child is coming, so you have time to set well set up a couple of things. You have a way you want to raise them, and then when they get to 12, you say, "Well, let's step up the knowledge to another level," or even 9 and 10, really 9 and 10. You step up the knowledge and the conversation a little bit. Then when they reach 12, 13, that's another step up. 15 to 18, you just never go in there and say, "Hey, I'm not prepared," because how do you prepare? How do you prepare to be the father? You read books. You talk to your father. What if your father's not there? You don't talk to your uncles. You don't talk to anybody, right? You know what gets you prepared for being a father? Being a father, and that's at any stage, from infancy all the way to adulthood. That's at any stage. Because we at the stage now where I got to talk to them about life insurance. All right? That's any stage right there. So you can say personally that I didn't really run off till they were grown. What I mean by run off is that I saw they were capable. And I finally decided to stop holding my breath and then just breathe and live a little bit for me. Because I held my breath a lot of nights. Like, Lord, 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 Lord. That's all I'm going to say. Go watch the interview on here. You'll understand what I'm talking about. I got 3 out of 4 on here. But don't ever think that, somebody else has some kind of book or schematic or you need to be this perfect person. There's no such thing. I tell people all the time the only perfect people I know are dead people. They can't make any more mistakes. They can't. So in any level of fatherhood, be you and be there. And it'll work. What if me's not enough? That's why would God give you the burden and blessing of being a father? You're not enough. That's you walking away from your blessing and making it a burden. Why? 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 Don't walk. Don't walk away and don't run away. Stand pat and keep on the path. Don't have anything, I don't care what age they are. You stand with them. You walk with them a little bit, and then, funny enough, when they get to a certain age, they'll actually start walking with you and taking you places you didn't think that you could go. Not when I say taking you places, I'm talking about sometimes emotionally and even mentally. They got. Remember, our senior hall used to be like, Sometimes you talk to them, you're like, wait. I'm the parent, but you dropping some science on me. I'm the father, but you dropping some jewels here. You know, and then he, and they get the James Evans laugh on you. He. I'm like, boy, and look, you got it from me. So he, nothing. Yeah, see, you know how to ruin the moment. Yeah, I do. Hell, I still want to go out with what Papa. I still have the special on Tuesdays. It was like $1 and change with 2 pieces and a biscuit. They still got that. Cause hell, I still want to do that with them, man. I still want to do that, even though I don't eat fast food anymore. I really don't. I rarely do that. But And sometimes you can just take a deep breath and say, huh, I'm proud of them, you know. And don't be ashamed to tell yourself you're proud of you either. It's not bragging or you just grabbing some nonsense out thin air. Nah, you affected lives or a life, depending on how much, whether you have a child or children. You molded and shaped a life. In my case, lives. There'll be good, there'll be bad, and there'll be times that make you happy and sad. But the most important thing is that you were there for those times. And ain't nobody could take that away from you. Not them, not anybody. I call this thing Daddy's Lounge because you get to lay back and be at ease over here, man. Ain't nobody, it's not about attacking women, none of that. It's about coming over here and just exhaling and saying, okay, look, this is what's up. This is going on with me, and this is how I'm gonna choose to deal with it with mine. And you know, somebody might pop up and say, "We feel you. We feel you. You know, take your time. You know, take your time. You know, yeah. Truth is, I have times where I love being a father and a grandfather, and there's other times I'm like, ooh, God is good because He brought us here. There ain't no way I can do this on my own. That was a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight to carry. It's a lot of weight. You know, 3 kids, 2 in the stroller, 1 in your arms. You getting on a bus because my damn Volvo was just too much for me to keep fixing it. I had a Volvo, then I had an Astro van because when I had my cleaning business, and I used to take one of them little boys with me, and he kept writing on the board after I cleaned it, so I lost that contract. What's up, Frankie Blanco? That's a good quote. Real people are not perfect, and perfect people are not real. Well, all right. I like that. I'm not gonna steal it from you though. It's yours. I like it. I like it. I like it. Real people are not perfect, and perfect people are not real. I think I'm gonna close the show out with that, man. I like that. Listen, this thing here. I'll give you an analogy or just an example. When I first learned how to drive stick shift, oh my God, it was horrifying, and I sucked. I was scared. I didn't know really how to shift. I kept putting the damn thing in neutral every time I got to a light. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't feel it. And then the more I did it, I started feeling it. I got more comfortable and I did it out of instinct. Then I realized something. I'm never driving any 30, 40, 50, 60 miles with no stick shift, man. That's a lot of damn work. But see, that was the only car we had at the time and I had to do it. So I did it. And it wasn't easy, but I did it. I did it. Would I prefer to get an automatic? Hell yes. But that's what we could afford at the time with that little stick shift. Excuse me, I knocked my light over. But yeah. So that's the same thing with fatherhood. Is sometimes it feels like a stick shift. Whole lot of shifting, whole lot of work to get you to point A to point B, whereas you can just buy an automatic and cruise. Don't always work like that because you get too comfortable when you cruise. Next thing you know, you wake up and you in a head-on collision because you're cruising. You forgot to put the work in, and that's the key right there. No matter how old they are, put that work in. And sometimes work, the older they get, the less work you have to put in. But when they get older, the time you put in with them is more important than the work. What I mean by that, you shouldn't really have to put too much working once they reach a certain age. Time, you drop a few, remember that time you let them, you put them in their place by saying, you over here complaining about your child, let me tell you a story about you. Oh, so that's where they get it. Ta-da. How'd you deal with that? I don't know. Figure it out. Figure it out. You know what I did? I held you sometime. And then if you got older, I had to discipline you if you were really out of pocket, but more than likely, I found something to keep you busy. You know, just spend that time with them, brothers. Spend that time because that time is really not for them. It's really for you, whether you believe it or not. That's not selfish. They come to you in need, but you enjoy spending that time with them more than they'll ever know. You know, because they gonna wake up one day and say, "Yeah, do you remember when I came over your house and we sat and talked and da 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 da. You said I could talk freely and da 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 da." I said, "Yeah, I remember. What do you want now?" Nothing. I just want to tell you I remember. And it shifted my day from being over here in the dark to knowing that now I'm standing in the light. Made that shift, you know. So just a few words could change the direction of someone's day. And the right amount of love and authority and firmness could change the direction of someone's life. It can. Mm-mm-mm. So wind it down. It's coming down to the home stretch and all that. I am not a scholar by any means at this. I'm just a man taking a chance at something without any fear. And whatever consequences come, I say I got to deal with it. You know, when anybody's opinion, I can deal with that also. You want to step up here and give me your opinion, that's fine. I deal with it. But my thing is, I'm not here to politic. I'm here to build. That's my thing. Unify, build a network. Because, like I said, when I started the brand, the Daddies Lounge, the Troy Graham Experience / Daddies Lounge, we need a place to woosah, man. Us fathers, and this is it right here. We need a place to woosah. If there's any out there that have are technically skilled on this social media thing. I've been on here for a minute. My technical skills are not that. I'm working on it, but maybe I want to have their own wells and Bissels. No, like Mark Nash does a great job on his show on the technical stuff. He does a great job over there. I definitely give him that. He does a great job over there. Uh, Coach Malachi, another great job over there. Great job over there. They both do a great job on the technical side of it. I watch them and figure out how they work. And then once I get that down, man, I think, things are going to change a little bit. But I definitely want to learn the technical side of it. The creative side is all left up to me. That's left up to me. The titles of the show and everything else, that's left up to me. That's me. That's from the inside of me. So winding down, coming down to the home stretch. Let me leave you with this. Something I heard today is nobody starts out anything without fear. But the person who who accomplishes is the one who does not let fear hold them. Hold on a second. Like, does not let fear hold them in place. They will never, ever, ever be the perfect time to do anything. There's never a perfect time to do anything. When that spirit hits you and says, I feel like this is now, guess what? Now is when you do it. But I don't really know what I'm doing. Do it and you'll learn. Repetition. Repetition will lead you to a good reality. Knowledge and repetition. If you do something constantly, you'll gain that knowledge. Okay? Trust me on that. If you do nothing, you will wake up and complain. But you got to go through the ups and the downs. You have to go through the ridicules. You have to look back on stuff and say, wow, how did I make it through? I'll give you a perfect example. I was never the best one in the gym when I boxed, but ain't nobody was more dedicated than me. And when I've sparred with you, nobody wants to spar with me again because I made sure I made them remember me. You're like, nah, we ain't sparring with we ain't sparring with Troy. Mm-mm. No, you take stuff too seriously. Damn right, damn right. And you look, if your father, new, married, single, so-called step, let me tell you something. Look at it just like that. You ain't never gonna be the best. As long as you there, when the sun is shining and through the storm, when the lights on and in the dark, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna be loved and you're gonna be remembered. You're not gonna be a whisper on the wind. You're gonna be cherished. Even if it's cherished in silence, you will be cherished and you will always be remembered. And one of them grandkids is gonna cling on to you like glue. Don't you forget it. That being said, let me quote my man here, Frankie Blanco. He dropped some stuff today. Real people are not perfect, and perfect people are not real. Think about that the next time you tell yourself you can't do this, whoever you are. Real people are not perfect, and perfect people are not real. If you want to be perfect, then the only way you're going to be perfect is you'll be perfect at doing nothing. You could perfectly do nothing, but you can't perfectly do something. Okay? Because if you're doing something, you ain't never going to be perfect at it. Because the largest room in the world is what? Room for growth. Ta-da. And always remember this. The wolf howls at the moon. The moon don't howl at the wolf. What that mean? What does it mean when it comes to this? You are the moon, and that child is the wolf. Think about that. What happens if you take that light away from that wolf? It becomes something. In most cases, they become a savage because they got to rumble around in the dark and deal with predators and everything. Go through life dealing with all that by himself in a dark world. So when you live in darkness, what happens to your heart? In most cases, not all cases. Yeah, that's right. Luke, I'm your father. No, you're not. Oh, yes, he is. On that note, let me jump out of here and say thank you for tuning into the Troy Graham Experience. Daddy's Lounge, episode 5. Grown kids take it. How much time is taking time? Selfish? Could be. Maybe. Could be. I don't know. Look, bless up everybody. I mean, and just remember, there's no time. No time is a perfect time. When you feel it, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. God is gonna send you through some waves and crash you up against the shore. But guess what? That's gonna lead to you to having some great success. and having a test. And then when you start speaking, you'll have a testimony. If you never do anything, you'll have no test. You'll have no testimony. You'll have no story to sell, to share. And when you pass, that preacher man's going to not be happy with you because they have nothing to say about you. See that little dash where it says born such and such, and then that's what they worry about when they speak about you. What did you do in that dash to make you be remembered? Hmm? All right. Stay blessed.